Hey everyone, this is Shae Bynes, and today I want to talk to you about 5 things that new real estate investors need to stop and do right now. Now, before I tell you about those things, let me quickly introduce myself. This is me with my husband and my 2 girls. I'm actually a buy and hold real estate investor in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I'm also a Private Money Blueprint alum. The very first time that Patrick started Private Money Blueprint and brought in some coaching students back in 2008, I was part of that. So I'm an alum, and since then I've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars in private money for our own real estate rental portfolio in South Florida, and I've been a guest trainer for the Private Money Blueprint community. And just to give you a little bit background in terms of work, I actually worked a nearly 11-year corporate career at IBM, and I actually left it in 2010 really thankfully because of real estate, and as well as other multiple streams of income that I had. And now I'm able to focus my full efforts on what I'm really passionate about, which is helping others to make their jobs an option rather than a necessity. And one of those ways that I do that is through my website at chasingyourfreedom.com. So I want to talk about something. Now, don't get mad at me. But I mean, the fact of the matter is that most people who set out to be successful real estate investors, they actually fail. And there's a few reasons for that. One is because they're completely confused as to where to start and they quickly get overwhelmed with all the information, right? And then there's a lack of focus. What happens is you start to make progress on, you start to take some action, take some steps forward, and you're making progress, but you're not making progress fast enough. And before you even get a chance to, you get a new idea, a new strategy, a new email from somebody else talking about something else as the best thing ever, and you jump ship. You change from one strategy to the other. And the other reason is because, some people, they just never move from the research and analysis phase. So they're kind of like in an endless spiral of research and getting more information and analyzing it, but not really taking any action forward. And that's usually due to fear. So does any of this sound familiar to you? I mean, this is something that a lot of real estate investors struggle with. And many of these things I struggled with as well when I got started. So I want to talk about 5 things that you need to do right now, okay? Number one is to be really clear about what you want and why. Why you want to be a real estate investor. What is your motivation? What are you working towards, right? Be really clear about that, because a lot of us, you work full-time jobs and you're side hustling, doing the real estate on the side, and it takes a lot of time and there's challenges, right? So you got to be really clear about what it is that you're striving for, why you want it. Okay, so then you actually have something to really push through, something you're working towards. You can push through the barriers to get to that, okay? Number 2 is, and this one's vital, you guys, and that's determine the best real estate strategy that fits your goals, your interests, your resources, and your personality type. A lot of times what happens is people will just choose what sounds good, as a real estate strategy, or what they see somebody else that they know doing well. And they'll just kind of pick a strategy. But you don't want to just pick a strategy. You really want to take time to determine which one of these real estate strategies actually fits me, right? What it is that I'm striving for. You don't want to pick something that you're not going to be interested in doing the work for it at all, because it's really not you. Something that you just don't have the personality type for. You don't want to go in that direction, right? Pick something that's well suited for you and well suited for your goals, interests, and resources, okay? Number 3, you also want to make sure that you're creating a 90-day plan. You want to have your goals and a 90-day action plan that's going to help you get to those goals. You may be familiar with this acronym that people talk about when they talk about goals, and that's SMART, having SMART goals. And the S stands for making sure that your goal is specific. M means that it's measurable. A means that it's achievable. R means that it is realistic. And T, that it's time-based, so that you're actually saying, here's a time frame that I'm going to get this done in. And I want to take a minute to just talk a little bit about the A and the R, the achievable and the realistic. this doesn't mean that you should set your bar so low, okay? You really do want to stretch yourself, right? Because you're really striving towards probably a pretty big goal, the financial freedom or whatever it is that you're working towards, right? So you really do want to push yourself. You just don't want to put yourself in a position where you've made the goal so huge that you're setting yourself up for a lot of disappointment, okay? That's what we're talking about here in terms of, being achievable and also being realistic. So put that goal in place, put those goals in place and an action plan for each of those goals. And the other thing I encourage you to do is to think about those consistent actions that you need to do on a daily basis, or at least every few days basis, because a lot of times that's how we find our success in business, because we take small steps consistently. Let me give you a quick example. Let's say that your focused real estate strategy is on wholesaling, bank-owned properties, let's say. Okay, so you're wholesaling REOs. Well, what do you have to do consistently? What are those things you have to do? You consistently have to put offers on properties, right? For example, okay, let's say that you're dealing with motivated sellers, like the homeowners, private homeowners, and you're doing direct mail campaigns, or you're figuring out the strategies in which you're going to reach them. What do you have to do consistently? Put out bandit signs, get your marketing pieces out consistently, follow up with homeowners who you haven't talked to for the last 60, 90 days or so, to follow up and see if they're ready, how you can help them. There's actions that you've got to take on a consistent basis that really those efforts snowball and lead to success for you, okay? So create like a nice calendar for yourself and show, okay, these are the types of actions I'm going to take on a regular basis, and these are the things that are going to help me towards these 90-day goals that I've set for myself, okay? Number 4, eliminate all distractions and get night vision. Here's what I mean. I know you can probably relate to this. I certainly did this. After you choose a real estate investing strategy, what happens is you're already subscribed to like 15 other email lists with people who are doing completely different strategies. And the problem with that is that you are tuning your ears and tuning your eyes into the wrong channel. Keep them focused on the right channel. You've already chosen your strategy. So if that particular person is not sending you content and strategies that are going to help you with your specific goal, right, then unsubscribe. Eliminate all those distractions so that you don't jump ship too early, right? The other thing is get night vision. And what I mean by that is every night before you go to bed, think through what's going to happen the next day. Make a list. Write down the 6 things that you're going to accomplish the next day. I can tell you from personal experience that it was one of the best things I could have done while I was working full-time and building businesses outside of work, okay? That was one of the most important things, because when I do that at night, what would happen is, for one, it lets you get to sleep because you've got your ideas on paper so you can actually rest. Second, you actually get some ideas that come during the night. It's like your subconscious is working on your to-do list while you're sleeping. But thirdly, it's just that you already know what you need to do when you do get that time, that available time the next day. And you don't waste time figuring out, what am I going to do now that I've got an hour? You're going to say, I already know exactly what I'm going to do with this hour. So that's something that will be hugely beneficial to you. And so I call that the night vision. Thinking about that vision at night, making that plan for the next day, and doing that on a regular basis. Make that a habit, okay? Now, here's the 5th thing that you need to do. And I'll tell you that this is, outside of that nightly vision, this has got to be one of the other biggest game changers for me personally when I was working full-time and working to make that job a complete option so that I could go and do what it is that I love to do. And that was to get an accountability partner. So what's great about the accountability partner is you can find someone who's like-minded. They don't have to be in real estate investing, but that would be great, but they don't have to be. Someone who is like-minded, striving towards goals as well, and someone that you can meet with on a weekly basis, at least on the phone, and you could talk about what you're going to do that next week. And that person holds you accountable to get it done. You can even have punishments or rewards, right, for getting things done or not getting things done. But the important point about that is to actually have someone that you can meet with weekly. You don't want to actually stretch it out too far. If you do bi-weekly, you can waste a whole lot of time over 2 weeks. Work to get something, some kind of arrangement where you can actually meet on a weekly basis, okay? So look, these are 5 simple things that you can and should do right now if you haven't done these things as a new investor. And I'll tell you the truth, when I finally stopped going through that cycle of research, and I actually started to take action, even then I spent 18 months floundering. I was all over the place, okay? And I see this happen all the time with new investors. So even though I'm giving you these 5 simple things that you can do, I also know that having personal feedback on how to choose that right real estate investing strategy and having personal help on solidifying that action plan and figuring out what those consistent actions are that you need to take to be successful and having that accountability, I understand that those things are really important in these early stages as an investor. And so that is why I created the Freedom Chasers 7-day bootcamp for new real estate investors. And I don't want to spend any time on this video going over the details, but I strongly encourage you to check out the link below this video right away. I can tell you that it's going to be fun. There will actually be prizes, but more importantly, this is going to put an end to your wheel spinning, okay? So check out the link below and get the details, and make sure you do it quickly because I will be closing enrollment in a couple days, okay? So again, that's it. That's it from me, and I hope that this has been helpful to you. This is Shae Bynes with ChasingYourFreedom.com, and I wish you the absolute best with your real estate investing. Take care.